Perfect.
Public access to the virtual option may be obtained by one of the following methods, and I think you all know about that. So call to order and roll call.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Vaughn. Yes. Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes,
Okay, approval of meeting agenda.
so move.
I'll second.
I'll third.
Call the roll.
Klein.
Yes,
Mahler.
Yes.
Vaughn. Yes. Schott.
Yes. Okay, consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion with no separate discussion of these items. A, minutes of the October 2, 2023 regular city council meeting. B, payments for contract services, Bolton and Mink, Weiss Park improvements, $2,237.50. Bolton and Mink, runway 14/32 relocation phase 3, $7,512. Bolton and Mink, runway 14/32 phase 2 construction, $43,764.45. Bolton and Mink, Willis Avenue overlay, $22,360.50. Bolton and Mink, 2019 sanitary sewer CIPP lining, $2,493.50. Bolton and Mink, 2024 street repairs HMA rehab, $3,663. Bolton and Mink downtown improvements phase 1, $53,455.50. Bolton and Mink general municipal engineering, $12,371. Total contract services payments, $147,857.45. Claims register and financials, $1,190,959.51.
I make a motion, we pass the consent agenda.
I'll
second that.
Call the roll, please.
Wally. Yes. Kirkland.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes,
City administrator's report.
All right, so it's been a couple of those weeks that we've all been busy and I don't know what happened. Auditors have been in City Hall the last couple of weeks, so Susie has been hard at work and busy with them. So that was nice to, I think now they're done with field work and they're just now emailing Susie all of their questions.
Well, they'll be doing the single audit now.
Okay, so more to come. So that's been going on. And then today I did get to go meet with Dr. Marzin and Eddie Diaz at the elementary school, learn a little bit what was going on there and just kind of some of the stuff happening. So any questions for me? Okay,
How's the runway going?
it's coming. The first 4,000 feet of runway is down at least.
Yes.
So I think there's more on that coming up.
Okay.
That's-
Mayor council comments, we've got all that taken care of, correct? Mayor proclamation, lights on after school, which is a program that citizens can turn their lights on starting about 4:30 in the afternoon. And any child that's walking home from school, if they run into a problem or they think there's a situation happening, they know if that light is on, that that's a safe place to go to. So I would urge anybody, especially in the school routes where a lot of kids, walk. If you would think about that, it would certainly be if somebody needed it, it would be well done.
Yes, it is my honor to request that the city of Perry proclaim October 2023 Lights on After School Month. If you do not know what PACES stands for, it's an acronym for Perry's Academic, Cultural, and Enrichment Services Program. It started as a $1.7 million federal grant in 2000. And 24 years later, we are here and we've been standalone since 2004. And we are dependent on parent fees, grants that I write. I just received a BOC grant. as well as this is our big fundraiser for the year with our Lights On After School event. Lights On After School was established as a national recognition of the importance of before and after school programs in 2000, same year we started. So we have participated in all 24 years. The need in the community here was established because of attendance issues at the school, students not getting their schoolwork done, and of course, safety. So the difference in why we are not a daycare, and I call it a learning center program, is because homework is a requirement. We do a lot of enrichment learning with our students, literacy skills, math, character education. We do fitness and nutrition. We've gotten a lot of awards. Recently just participated in the Healthiest State Walk, year 13 of all 13 years. So we try to keep our kids really engaged and active. We're open every day 6 to 6, only closed on no school days. For 11 years, we even covered all snow days, believe it or not, back in the day. And then we are open for 9 weeks in the summer as well, which I know Chief Vaughn really appreciates us. We really help with a lot of issues. We're open 12 hours a day in the summer, and we only close for 2 weeks in August. We are the biggest show in town in terms of care. We also are probably the most affordable, but the only reason for that is because of grants that we write. So this is really important. It takes a community effort to really involve everyone in the community. We expanded our license this summer. We had 154 students every day, and we have 145 right now. And we also expanded our license. Limit is rooms available, meeting ratios. We're both Department of Education as well as Department of Human Services license. So a lot of regulations, and we're glad to follow them. You're welcome to come visit anytime. We welcome that. If you want to be a guest reader, you want to have fun with the kids, we'd love you to come and work with our students. And we will be having our program. We had to move it to the first week of November to work with school conferences. But November 1st, Wednesday, 3 to 5, we'll be walking at the track. So the students will get pledges for laps walked at the track. We make it a lot of fun with music. And then our huge celebration on Thursday night, 5 to 6, with a supper following at the elementary cafeteria. We have a talent show, we have student awards, poster contests, essays. So last year, probably well over 200 people and standing room only. So it's a great community event. As council members, great way to meet the people that you're representing and serving in our community. Very diverse population. We serve a lot of families of need, and I'm seeing a lot of need with our families. So we're glad to be there working. And I'll hand out it's on, and if you want to make a pledge. And then you get the official copy.
Oh, not that I know of.
Yes, it was in the pack,
Okay. All right.
in the big packet.
And Liz, thank you for getting me on the
Where?
agenda. Liz,
Oh, okay.
Liz could speak to this. We have her daughter in the program. And right now I have probably well over a dozen families of kids that I raised at the program. And now I have their kids. So we're here. Thank you.
Okay, Mary, I hate to see you leave quite so quick. How many years have you been involved with this program? How many years? 24. And this lady,
Start.
and yes, okay. And this lady has been there, and she has been dedicated, and she has been a friend, and you've worked your soul off for these people. Thank you. Yeah, 'cause we used to go up and get fresh eggs from her, so. Okay,
Thank you, Mary.
any other council comments?
I have one comment.
Okay,
Last one about the car show. This last Saturday, I had 130 participants in the car show. We had 4 or 5 motorcycles, and the rest were all cars. All yours, makes, models, fun show. We had a free will offering. And all of that went to Perry River Pet Rescue, Raccoon River Pet Rescue. And these folks were, many were out of town. They were throwing in $50 bills, $20 bills. We raised $961 this year. So what a nice car show to raise money for Raccoon River Pirates. That's all you're gonna hear about car shows this rest of this year.
For this year?
Next year, we'll try that again.
Anybody else with any comments before we move on?
I just want to tell Dean, I've had several people stop by and say how good it was, so.
Yes. I've talked to a number of people that just were thrilled.
It was fun. We had
It was a good show.
It was. really
good
good.
people uptown. So that's what it's all about.
That's cool. Okay, special presentation now from the Perry Public Library Director, Mary Murphy.
Chris is going to share. You'll have, it's in front of you also, because I don't trust technology.
Your final presentation?
My final, well, no, actually I do it at the Rotary on Wednesday,
Oh.
So, second last. So, in our ordinance, there is supposed to be an annual report to the city council every year. Sometimes it, comes out, formally, and sometimes it's informal and as included in your in your packet. Our mission at the Perry Public Library is to enable our community to thrive by offering lifelong opportunities to connect, learn, and create. I have bribed everybody at the library, all the staff, to actually memorize this. So because we're connecting, we're learning, and we're creating connections all the time, especially with information. Next. Our strategic goals, we had a strategic plan created 2 years ago. Increase communities' awareness of library services, maintain and improve cost effectiveness of collection services and programming. That's the economist in me. I always try to get the most for what we spend because it's taxpayer money and also donations and grants. Connect to the online world, become a center of community information, and create a comfortable place. Next. Our capital goals for this year, for this past year, we finished the interior painting of the library upper story, library circulation desk, LED lighting finished. We applied for 3 grants and we received all 3 of them. We have new lockers and storage shelving. And at the Carnegie, the new boilers, camera system, and updated fire alarm system. And we have a new large monitor in the community room. And thanks to everybody who was part of that, because it was, we discovered we had cement block with some wood. We had to put some wood in there to hold it up. So it was a very involved project of which I let them handle it. So next. High points of this past, we were awarded accreditation. This happens every 3 years. It's quite an evolved procedure of which we have to qualify for about 150 questions. So we had 2 retirements and we restructured these job descriptions, and we have 2 new employees. This, remember, is last fiscal year. The solar project was finished, and we have the monitor that shows how much we are generating from the solar project, solar panels. Outreach continued. We have 13 Little Free Libraries in Perry. Milk and Eggs Farm Credit of America grant. They just gave us this first grant was $2,000. We just got another $1,000 check from them to put milk and eggs in the refrigerator at the Library. 5210 grant, we have the new projector. It's a beam projector, which it shines down on the floor, and every story time has taken advantage of this in that the kids get up and start moving. They stomp on balloons, they stomp on different animals. They really like it. If you haven't experienced it, you need to come over and ask about it, and we can show it to you. Tasting freshness with Paces. I finally rivaled Miss Suzanne in popularity because I brought snack once a week to Paces, and the kids really liked it. And it was all healthy things like yogurt and blueberries, carrots and ranch dressing. What really surprised me was the peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Actually, we had avocado toast on the last one, and it was, everybody tried it. And I was just like, okay. I wouldn't have tried it at 8 years old. Healthy Steps program, and that's our giveaway at the farmers market, of which we did 4 this year. The STEM cart notification, we didn't receive it until this fiscal year, but we have a STEM cart that is probably about this wide, this tall, full of drawers of things that Miss Laura is using for story time, and they do all kinds of STEM things. So Wow Wednesdays for different age groups, take advantage of that too. And I wanted to mention Kids Fest, because we partner with Tyson, the Perry Fire Department, Parks and Rec, Public Works, DMAC, Rotary, Dallas County Hospital, IPTV, Dallas County Health Department. All of these come together and do something at Kids Fest. We had probably between 800 and 900 people, not quite as packed as in the previous year, but everybody had fun. And I have some pictures coming up. We did get funding from the Bach grant, the Friends, and the Gift Fund. So you can see the bubbles up there, and Rhonda, who comes every year with popcorn. The foam is a hit. The petting zoo down there in the lower right-hand corner is a hit. They had a 17-day-old colt that came. These 2 gentlemen on the left-hand side built that, and we have a video on our Facebook page of showing it leaning over. So in the middle on the top, DMAC had a bounce house. The fire department always brings every single truck, because if they have a fire alarm, they have to leave. It hasn't ever happened because I know who would be cooking the pork tenderloins. And on the right-hand side, this is a duck pond, of which you never can underestimate what fascinates a 12-month-old or an 18-month-old, because they will stay there the whole time and play with these little ducks. So next. We had leftover gingerbread houses from Christmas, and Miss Laura came up with a idea of having a gingerbread vacation house decorating contest. And this was, you had to sign up as a family, and they were very creative. Next. And these are just 8 of the 12 that were made. So you can see that they all had different ideas. The one in the lower left-hand corner, that's epoxy, where you can see through the water. It's not icing or anything. So a lot of time was spent, and a lot of time was enjoyed by the people who came into the library. Honorable mentions, with our new employees, we had greater programming for youth and adults. We have our adult services librarian that is also responsible for marketing program, and she's doing a great job. new children's bookshelves, of which Misty has actually cataloged every single easy book for and put in these new bookshelves. They are face out bookshelves, so they can flip through them and find their books. Children, teens, and adult summer reading program was a great response. We partnered with community entities such as the Proletariat, Perry Perk, the 10 Pig, and had a lot of programs out in the community. The children's programming went to the pet rescue. So a lot of all together now was the theme. So it was all about community and what community, instead of just being in the library, but reaching out to the community in that. And you can see the registration, children was 406, teens were 75, and adults were 119, of which are very respectable numbers. Miss Suzanne usually had them between 450 and 475. So for a first year for Miss Laura, for 406 was really great. Teens doubled from last year, and adults exceeded the previous year by about 30. I think it was 92, somewhere in that neighborhood for adults. And we added a full year of hometown heritage at the Carnegie Library Museum programming and exhibits. A lot of these numbers that I'm going to be showing you in a little bit are from this State Library Annual Survey, and they wouldn't let me put the numbers in for the first 6 months of the hometown heritage at the Carnegie Library Museum. I put the programming numbers in the exhibits, but not for the funding. I had words with Scott Dumont at the State Library of why. I did the work, it should count. Next, please. This is another pictures tell lots and lots of stories. We have the school bus, the walking school bus up in the upper left-hand corner. Salvation Army comes once a month, not only with food, but with assistance for rent and utilities that they can help people sign up for that. We've been having teas at the Hometown Heritage at the Carnegie Library Museum. This is Gus up in the top with me giving away watermelons. They were really heavy. So the lower middle picture is from the school display or school exhibit from the Perry schools. And Eric, this is your police officer who is not afraid of bugs. So everybody sees that picture and they're like, ooh. So next, please. The numbers, circulation, recall fiscal year 2021, that was COVID. And you can see that the circulation did go down. And remember, for most of that year, from March 16th of 2020 to February 17th of 2021, the library was closed. So we delivered books out to trunks of cars or in the back of the back seat. And fiscal 2021 and 2022, we made a nice recovery, and we just a little bit more this past year. The visits to the library has increased dramatically because it was practically nothing. And you can see that it's grown tremendously. Reference questions, you would be surprised how many questions we get and where we get them. The grocery store, the restaurant. Can you renew my book? I'm like, right? Misty gets most of them. So the number of programs from 262 to 7:54 to 8:30. This is rivaling our highest one in my tenure at the library, which was 2018, when we had the Discover Space. We had about 945 programs, and a number of attending that year in 2018 was 24,000. So we're recovering nicely. I like to think that the output that we give to the community is what we check out, our circulation, our programming, and then our services such as the fax machine, the copying machine, readers advisory. So we have those services going on. And you will see that annual room use, this is people that are renting our rooms or nonprofits that are using our rooms. And you can see that as our use of the rooms have increased, this number has decreased because we're using the rooms. Public computer use has increased since our dismal pandemic year, and wireless usage has also increased. Financials, we receive revenues from the city of Perry, Dallas County, state of Iowa, contracting the city of Dawson. And the reason why that's 462 and 21-22 is because they paid twice. They were catching up. But fines and fees have gone up since COVID. Gifts and donations, you can see that we have received usually it ranges between 45,000 and 60,000, has been highest in, I think 72,000 was one year, the renovation year. Grants, you can see in the past year, I mentioned that we had Dallas County Foundation, the Bach grant and the 5210 grant. Hometown Heritage, yes, I finally got to add the numbers of the support of Hometown Heritage. And so you see that the total revenue has increased over the past 3 years. Expenditures, wages and benefits, you can see that it has from 2021, 21 to 22, 22 to 23, it has increased substantially in the last year. Total collection, we spend somewhere between 40, 48, 47 to 55,000 for collection expenses. Other expenses such as utilities, such as office supplies, going to conferences, those are the other expenses. And the gift fund, I've referred to the gift fund. This is where we park our 35,000 that we received for the Weiss Foundation, in addition to donations to the library and grants. Programming, just under 27,000 we spent in fiscal 22-23. Materials, in addition to what the city has allocated, 40,000. We spent 18,000 out of the gift fund. Marketing, we have made a concerted effort in the past year to increase and step up the marketing efforts. Kids Fest, $3,962, well spent. It's a collaboration of a lot of entities, and it's a great time for the kids. Credit card, debit card to the city of Perry. That's what I give back when we when people charge their debit card or credit card to the city. Mileage outreach, 1,200. That's for, we have a program right now of which we have a staff person go down to Waukee once a week and get Waukee Christian services, food, and bring it back for our outreach that's in the library. The digitation project is the extra money every 18 months, the Perry chief, I'll get an email from Dan Brown from Advantage Companies, and he'll say, I have 18 months of the Perry chief. Do you want to digitize it? And that will bring it up to date. So if you search the Perry chief online, and you can do it from your home, and it's usually an 18-month lag, and we bring it up to date every 18 months. Professional development, that is going to conferences or fees for classes, and some miscellaneous office supplies, dues, postage, and renovation. Our goals for this fiscal year, successful transition to the new director. I am excited to look forward to my retirement, and when you invest a lot of yourself in your job and what you do, you want to hand it off to somebody who is going to do great things, and the next director will do great things. We're going to continue with the 5210 grants, Kids Fest, and all of our strategic goals until the next strategic plan gets that Missy will do in 2 years. So I wanted to say at the very end of this, we aren't alone. We have collaboration going on. And the team is made up of the Library Board of Trustees, which are appointed by the mayor and approved by the council. The library management team, Misty and I have worked really, really well together. The staff from the museum and the librarian, the Friends of the Perry Public Library, they are having 3 fundraisers going on right now. And it's phenomenal. Perry Public Library Foundation, I've tapped into some of that money when we did the renovation in 2020. Hometown Heritage Board overlooks what we've been doing at the Carnegie Library Museum. The City of Perry employees, I can't say enough about the collaboration between departments that we have. If I need that picnic table for Latino Fest or the Kids Fest, John Anderson will make it happen. If things, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, the collaboration that we have. And all of you, the city council, listening to me drone on about our last year, my last year. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know how long ago it was, but at some point in my youth, which is a long time ago, they introduced me to Walter Farley and the Black Stallion. And I learned how to read by reading Walter Farley's books when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and that's a long time. And I've been to the library ever since, so thank you.
Well, I am dedicated to literacy because I believe if you can read, you can teach yourself. And if you come and stumble across a teacher that you just don't jive with, you can teach yourself. So.
Thank you.
And-
Thank you.
So this is Mary's, she's in her final 2 weeks of being with us with the city of Perry, but just wanted to thank Mary for all that she's done for the library and for the community. She's been with us for 13 years. So definitely grateful for that.
Since you're sharing things about her, I would also like to, we are having the Friends of the Library is hosting a retirement reception for Mary on Friday, October 27th from 11:30 to 1:30 in the afternoon, and that will be at the Perry Community Room. So I invite everybody that has met Mary, that's Mary's had an impact on, whatever, please come and say goodbye or see you later, because she's still going to be around. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, and Pegasus presentation by Mr. Vodnik and Mr. Jameson.
Thank you. I don't necessarily have a presentation, but more of a, just an update, so. Keep a little bit, under a little time here. On behalf of Doug Wood, Dan Heyman, Larry, Terry, Schneering, these are our board members. And by the way, my name is John Jameson, 1309 First Avenue. I think we need to announce that. I forgot to do that. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the city of Perry for their support. Hometown Perry, Iowa, the Perry Schools, the Forest Park and Perry Fine Arts, the Christ Lutheran Church, Perry United Methodist Church, the funeral homes, Hastings, Murdoch, and Karis, and many others for providing us some programming. So we do, and the library has been essential in that aspect too. I visited with Mindy and I haven't met with Misty yet, but we're going to try to get together with them and create a few more programs and things. We've struggled over the last years. I know many of you know Keith Knoll passed away a couple years ago, and he was kind of instrumental in kind of the operations of Pegasus. And I was been on the board and just kind of helping him out. And since then, our programming has gone down a little bit, and some of our equipment too. That's been about 30 years old. Needed some replacing, so we just acquired a new server programming scheduler. It was about a $13,000 investment that we've just made here recently. We went through some training last week on it for a few hours with the people out of Seattle who we purchased the program from. So hopefully we're going to get back up online a little. We're kind of online, but we're not hooked into the digital format yet. So we're working on that transition. Worked with Mediacom to get we had a power supply go out on our modulator, so which converts our digital signal to the Pegasus channel. Some of the things we're doing as far as going to the community, rather the Pegasus is run on the Mediacom channel 121, and we're trying to expand our programming to include the entire community. So Larry's taken over and added a Facebook page, and we have a YouTube channel that we're going to put some of our programming on. We're kind of limited on some of the programs that we do to put on air because of that ASCAP and some of the music rights and things like that. So we can put it on our station. So a lot of the music programs will be able to run it entire on our station, but on the YouTube channels and those others, we might just have to do little pieces of it. The city council meetings, we're trying to get on our website and on our programs, and with the scheduler, it'll have a set time and date for that. The church programs that we do, the Christ Lutheran and Methodist churches, we're going to try to get on a schedule so they're at the same time every week. So these things are some of the things we've done in the past, but that with that equipment failing, we haven't been able to do that. So we are looking seriously for some help. We need some people to add time to, if they had time to do some programming, editing. We're looking for an office manager, somebody to help us out. So we are actively searching for employees. So we'd like to entertain that to the city of Perry to help us out with finding somebody to help us market, help Larry with some of the projects he's working on. He's done a good job with some of the programs as far as the historical, and those are kind of interesting. I like listening to those. And what else you have?
Well, basically, we ran into a lot of issues, and if you can imagine, the equipment we had over there is 30 to 40 years old, which is analog. So if you can think back 30 to 40 years ago to the television that you had, that's the equipment that we had or have. And we haven't, MediaCom has not been forthcoming as to help us with this, so we had to do this ourselves. So we made a $13,000 investment, which we're now learning how to run. This is a totally new piece of equipment, which is.
And as Mary said, it's, you learn by doing and reading, and I've been reading up on it and self-taught, so.
Look, my effort with Pegasus is going to be to, Pegasus is for MediaCom subscribers. That's, if you don't subscribe to MediaCom, you're not gonna get Pegasus. My thoughts are is that's not gonna do much for the city. So what I'm working on is taking our programming and putting it onto YouTube so that anybody with a computer will be able to access it. And whether it be the city council meeting or the car show or things like this, we could do a lot more, but it's basically there's 5 of us. We have a crew of 5. And several of these, 3 of them don't even live in Perry or work in Perry. So that puts it down to the 2 of us. So it's very difficult. So we need some help. If you're looking for somebody that would like to volunteer, we will train them and learn with this new piece of equipment. While we're learning, we can train them. But I think if we can start taking our material, putting it on YouTube, we'll reach way more people in our community. And but we'll only have to do it one time. Right now, the logistics of doing it, going from analog to digital, et cetera, to putting it into a broadcast form is it's time consuming and it's very difficult. Hopefully this new piece of equipment will fix that. But that's my goal is that people will be able to tune into Pegasus YouTube channel and see what's happening in Perry in real time. It'll be, and speaking just for myself, there's quite frequently I'll be on Facebook or something and I'll see people are saying, when is there a homecoming parade? When is it? Where is it? The thing is, there just isn't, their newspaper's gone. There just isn't one place where people can find this stuff. And that's my hope, is that we can make this YouTube channel a place where anybody with a computer would be able to go there and find it.
One other thing I do want to mention, we do have some funding. We did get some grant money from the Bach Foundation too, to help us supply cameras. So we do have a camera for the library and the Forest Park and the schools, so that we could leave the equipment in there so that someone could possibly video or tape a program going on and then supply us with the tape, and then we'll be able to edit and air it. So that was one thing we have done. I did speak with Minnie the other day at the library, and it's at the hometown heritage, and I think they go back and forth, but we have enough equipment now that we can have one in both places, so we can utilize it. And anybody that needs a camera or would like to have one, we can supply them with one. So
Anybody got any questions? I would just like to take a few seconds to thank the city council, the city of Perry, Sven, the chief back here. We had Public Safety Day this last weekend down at IB. Not our best weather that we've ever had. It was rainy, cold, drizzly and everything, but we had a nice turnout. But I want to thank everybody from the city for coming out, and it's amazing when you go out there and just talk to the people who come through. Of course, the kids are having a great time. They're climbing up in a fire engine and things like that. But when you start talking to an adult and they go over and they hear what a street sweeper costs, their mouth just falls open because they haven't watched the city council. They didn't see when you paid for it or anything like that. And the equipment that's required for one of the vehicles down there from the police department and everything, but I just want to thank the city council and, as I said, Sven and everything, but all these department heads that made it a very successful event. Even if we did get rained out a little bit.
Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, much.
Okay. And it was brought to my attention that I accidentally skipped right over item number 5, open forum, which I think was pretty well covered, but if there's a thank you, come up, sir.
Logan, Raccoon Valley Radio 225-6241 Drive in Perry. We have a special forum, a live forum that we're gonna have on the 18th, 6 p.m. at Hotel Patty. We invited all the candidates, emailed them, called them. And we'll just have a special forum where people can tune in and listen on KDLS 94.3, 99.7, 1310 AM, or they can view it live stream on our Facebook page. And then on the 19th, we'll have a school board forum, 6 p.m. Hotel Patty, same deal. You can listen to it, you can watch it. So it's for the residents, voters to get to know the candidates. Mahler and Schott, if you want to talk with me after and see if you'd like to join. But yeah, so the 18th, 19th, we'll have special forums that you can listen live or watch. So appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Jim?
Jim Caulfield, 2124 Stella Street, with the Perry News. I want to thank the council, the incumbent council members, Jeremy Mahler and Barb Walling, who attended last Tuesday night's candidate forum at our library. Mayor Pro Tem Schott was out of town, sadly, and was unable to attend, but his presence was sorely missed but I want to thanks for being there. It seemed like a pretty good deal, and I'm sure the Perry Industries with their media partner will stage a similarly beneficial event.
It was enjoyable.
Okay, so moving on to old business, I think is where we're at. Item number A, approval of pay application number 6 for the runway 14/32 relocation phase 2. Pay application number 6 in the amount of $993,772.34 to Manats Inc. for completed work on phase 2 of the runway relocation has been received and signed by the project manager, which recommends approval.
I make a motion, we approve pay application number 6 for runway 1432 relocation phase 2.
I'll second.
Comments, questions?
So last time I was out there pre-rain, they were starting to backfill up against the new runway, and right behind them, the electrician was starting to get things in order to start doing all the electrical work. So I think here early, this is this week now, early this week, Wenthold Excavation should be back on site to start grading the extension. Probably looking like the schedule is going to have Manats coming back to pave early spring first thing. So bummed about that, but it was also kind of a looking like in the schedule, it's possible to squeeze in grading and paving this fall, but then it would sit all winter unpainted, and the electricity would not be done. It will be a better product in the end to get a freeze thaw cycle with the grading prior to paving that extra 1,500 feet and then going in. Then they can do everything they need to do in the spring when the weather is good for painting, electrical work, all of that. So unfortunately, but fortunately, probably looking like early next spring into early summer of finishing up construction out there.
But we will be rough grading this fall.
That's the plan. Yep.
Anybody else for anything? Okay, item B. Call the roll. Thank you.
Mahler.
Yes.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes. Okay, item B, approval of pay application number 28 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. Pay application number 28 in the amount of $481,731.71 to Woodruff Construction is for the construction of the wastewater treatment facility improvements. To date, total payments requested by the contractor are 87.2% of the total amount of work to be completed under the contract. All documents have been reviewed and signed by the engineer and are recommended for approval.
I make a motion.
We approve pay application number 28, the wastewater treatment facility improvements.
And I'll second that.
Questions, comments, concerns?
We do have Mr. Andrew Sint on the phone in case anybody has any questions, or Andrew, do you just want to give kind of a general update on how that project is going?
Sure. Good evening. This pay app number 28 has about 40% of the amount for process pipe installation for air and sludge piping. About 20% of this pay app is for electrical, that's cable and conduit installation across the entire site. And they've also started the control system computer programming. Other items that they've completed on this pay app are equipment installation at the nutrient basin and the aeration basins. And another item to note is the insurance claim for damage to city property and to city employees' vehicles has been resolved, and the insurance company has sent the checks out.
Great. Any questions for Andrew? It's personally fun to see that 87% number continue to climb. So
Yes,
getting closer and closer.
yes. Sounds good.
Yes.
Roll.
Berkman? Yes.
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 Item C, resolution authorizing the mayor and or city administrator to sign and accept the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD award for a community project funding grant for the downtown improvements phase 1. The city of Perry submitted to Iowa's 3rd Congressional District an application for community project funding through congressional appropriations through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD. An application for funding for the Perry Downtown Improvements Phase 1 project per resolution 04-0522H. And on March 2nd, 2023, the city of Perry was notified by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD that the city of Perry was awarded $1,919.82
No,
for the Perry Downtown.
no, it was the other way.
I was correct. $1,919,082 for Perry Downtown Improvements Phase 1 project. This resolution would accept the grant agreement number B-23-CP-IA 0500 from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD for the Downtown Improvements Phase 1 project and authorize the mayor and or city administrator to sign all forms necessary to execute such grant. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve resolution authorizing the mayor and or city administrator to sign and accept the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD award for a community project funding grant for the downtown improvements phase 1.
Second that.
Discussion?
So this is the funding, we put in for it 2 years in a row. And with the right before the end of the calendar year, when the feds passed their budget, this was part of that budget. Then with Congresswoman Axney coming out of office, Congressman Nunn coming into office, it got lost in the shuffle a little bit. We were notified of the award. I think I probably got really excited and didn't read anything else, that we had to accept the award. And then Liz caught it, and here we are. So this is or Susie did, one of the two.
One of them.
one of my gatekeepers, or babysitters, one of the, whichever. So again, this is to add a block onto the downtown project above the scope that we had initially looked at. So great funding opportunity and happy to be able to, acquire this funding.
Absolutely.
Call the roll.
Klein,
Yes.
Berkeley.
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes. Item D, resolution awarding an RFP to Impact 7G Inc. for environment assessment services for the awarded Brownfields Assessment Grant and approving a professional services agreement for such services. Per resolution 090523H, the city issued a request for proposals, RFP, to seek qualified environmental professionals to provide environment assessment services relating to the Brownfields Assessment Grant through the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, that was awarded. The RFP was open from September 5th, 2023 until September 27th, 2023. And during such time frame, one submission was received from Impact 7G Inc. Administration staff has reviewed the submission from Impact 7G Inc. and recommends approval based on their qualifications and past experiences. This resolution would award the RFP to Impact 7G Inc. and approve the professional services agreement for such implementation of the City of Perry's Environmental Protection Agency Brownfields Assessment Grant in an amount not to exceed $371,750.
I make a motion to pass.
Anything?
Oh, sorry. I make a motion, we pass a resolution awarding an RFP to Impact 7G Incorporated for environmental assessment services for the awarded Brownfields Assessment Grant and approving a professional services agreement for such services.
I'll second that.
All right. And this is all, Ryan Peterson pointed out that we still have our big check up from
Yep.
EPA. So this is for that project, but in the interest of transparency, Mr. Ryan Peterson is of no relation to me. Clearly, my family has better hair. So, but
You took longer than I thought to get the hair jab in there. So, good evening, everyone. Just want to give a real brief update of the Brownfield grant, the community-wide assessment grant. So it was a $375,000 grant. This is a grant, not a loan. There's no match for this. So it's a wonderful program. The city of Perry has been working with EPA going back now almost 20 years. And I know there's nobody more excited than Susie because she gets to fire up the Brownfield program and start doing paperwork. You know, the grant gets broken into 4 different tasks, cooperative agreement oversight. That's where we do our reporting to the EPA on a monthly, quarterly basis. Community engagement, we'll do a community involvement plan, get the website up and running so we can talk about some of the redevelopment initiatives that we've been doing, get some marketing materials out. Then the bulk of the grant will be the site work that'll be doing the actual environmental site assessments. So phase 1, phase 2 is we'll be looking at subsurface investigations, hazardous materials inventories and stuff like that. And then the 4th phase will be on planning. So we'll be able, with this funding, we'll be able to do an area-wide plan. It's like an inventory of all the sites in town, you know, that we'll be able to use this funding for. So it's a fantastic program, you know, and I know the city of Perry has benefited greatly from this program. The EPA is super excited to have Perry back in the Brownfield fold. So any questions?
how many years have you been working in Perry?
I would say about 16, I think. So.
Yes.
Yeah, the Roundhouse project was a fun one, you know. Going back many years, we spent a lot of time out there.
So definitely has a lot of history in Perry, and Impact 7G has been very, very good to work with over the years.
Right.
Gets the Susie stamp of approval.
That's important. Thank you.
Anything else from anybody? Call the roll, please.
Muller.
Yes.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Item E, resolution approving a minimum assessment agreement with Balmer LLC. City Council per resolution 09-1823A approved a purchase agreement with Balmer LLC for lots 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Blue Jay addition, part of block 8 in the Foster and Heaton's addition, for a purchase price of $4. Balmer LLC will be redeveloping the 4 vacant lots described by constructing rental duplexes for a total of 8 rental units with a minimum actual value of $1,600,000. This resolution would approve the minimum assessment agreement between the City of Perry and Balmer LLC and authorize the mayor and or the city administrator to sign the agreement.
I make a motion, we pass a resolution approving a minimum assessment agreement with Balmer LLC.
One second.
Questions, comments?
So this is just one little extra thing that came up when Balmer's attorney was reviewing all of the agreements and worked with Dewey to come up with this minimum assessment agreement. It's a pretty boilerplate type of thing. So just the last thing to do, they've already been at their own risk, been grading the site. And that dirt, most of it's been going to the Casey's site for some of their fill.
And at my place.
And to your place. So perfect. So been great for them to be able to get going on that project. And I think tomorrow we'll close everything and be done. And I think Dewey is excited to maybe not have a closing for a couple days. So.
Just a side note, on the resolution, Dewey did ask that I put some state of Iowa code in it. Nothing changed, it just added the line of the code that was referenced.
Okay.
Walling.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Muller.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes. New business. Approval of retail alcohol license for La Luna Music Venue LLC. Police Chief Eric Vaughn has written a memo with his concerns with the location of the establishment and requested discussion to be held on the approval. Fire Chief Grayson Hill will be conducting a fire inspection, but such inspection had not been completed at the time of council packet preparation. If City Council would determine that the license application is acceptable, the application can be approved contingent on the fire inspection, if that inspection has not yet been completed at the time of the meeting. Motion?
Do we need to make?
Before we have a motion, could we hear Chief Vaughn's
Sure,
concerns?
absolutely.
Yeah, the main concern is we currently have a city ordinance that does not allow for a licensed establishment, like a bar, within 500 feet of a school or church. And so with that being said, this would be within that 500 feet. I think address of Luna would be like 10,000 or 10008 26th Street. The Success Center of the Perry School District is in that same strip mall, historically lumber, and I think their address is 1020 26th Street. So that's my major concern. I had a chance to speak with the applicant because there is also a condition in there that if more than 50% of their sales come from something other than alcohol, then it is permissible, such as like a restaurant or something like that. And he kind of told me that he was unsure if he was going to meet that threshold also. So with that, I wanted to bring that to your attention and also to the city attorney's attention also.
So I understand that this establishment is intended for wedding receptions, I don't know, can we speak to? Can we hear from them?
Ask what you.
Good evening, guys. My name is Jose Aquino. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on the agenda and appreciate you guys' time too. This is going to be a open for weddings, quinceañeras, everybody. It's a music venue, it's not a nightclub and it's not a bar. It's just a way to be able to generate a little bit more extra money by having a bar, just like the Elks does. They rent it out. It's for private events, and we do have a bar. I'm constructing a stage, and actually, sir, to answer Mr. Grayson, actually sent a gentleman today to do the inspection, and he said he was reporting back to Mr. Grayson with the approval of that.
How often do you expect to have your venue open or?
Oh, so thank you actually for that. So I am actually only shooting for Saturdays. That's obviously if there is a private event going on, or if I have a live event going on. Saturdays only. I do not plan to open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or nothing, and from 9 p.m. and up. And obviously we are 21 and over. We will be 21 and over. So that is not gonna affect anything on that end. The location itself has been zoned for a liquor license. I don't remember since when, but it has.
When is the school?
Just generally during the day, during the week, I don't think they really have after hour events there.
So realistically.
Still a school,
It's
still a church. I think when this was originally established, this ordinance. It might have better information, but it just said a church or a school. It didn't give times or anything like that. Generally, there used to be a church in this area when there was.
Yeah, there was a church out.
And so, I mean, generally it wasn't the same time. So far, it's established. Doesn't give that specification.
We need to relook at the code.
So I think a couple things to add is that there have been establishments at this location prior to the Success Center moving there, correct?
There have been, but they were grandfathered in a way.
Yeah, so it's kind of been open and closed here and there. So, yeah.
Now we have a school back there.
Yeah.
Can't go back. Into that.
Have we had any input from anyone at the Success Center?
No, I have not spoken to Paul. It's kind of work and stuff.
I think we had a little bit of this conversation too with La Poste opening and kind of what percent of La Poste would be, because it's right across the street from a church, what percent would be rentals and what percent would be the bar sales. So, and honestly, we've talked a little bit, Susie and I were talking today, it's kind of a dated ordinance and we're probably going to bring it up in codification review anyway. So it's one of those things. And I don't know, Dewey, do you have thoughts on, is this, I don't know if this is the right term, but is this normal in an ordinance?
Recommendation would be that you look at amending this particular ordinance. The sticky point here is, so if there was a bar out there and they were just selling to these gentlemen now, there'd already been a bar there, so it could continue. But in this case, there was a gap in there. So technically, if you were asking my opinion, it would not qualify under the current ordinance. That's why I would recommend that we look at amending this ordinance, so it would better fit a situation like this.
Would it be possible to amend the ordinance, as long as we don't have a conflict of overlapping of hours? I mean, that would be my only concern. If we had overlapping hours. It doesn't sound like we're gonna have that problem.
Absolutely. I think that would be one of the things that we probably want to have in the ordinance. I agree.
I'd be all for it. That's.
I think, now with more redevelopment in the downtown, obviously there's a good number of churches downtown. And it could pose a problem if a place were to want to go into a space downtown. I'm just thinking of the new Nudgers project. There's a church between there and the theater. And so that would be a consideration for them too, of what they would be able to do if it was just a bar. And that's why there is that clause in there of 50% food or beverage sales. So there's some workarounds. And again, this sounds a lot like La Poste to me, with kind of the startup sense to it. We're not exactly sure how much will be rentals from weddings and events, how much might be alcohol. So maybe something to approve with monitoring, but then also taking a look at that and noting that for codification.
Okay, I make.
Thoughts? But Chief probably has, do you have thoughts, feelings?
It's more of a code issue, more of a legal issue.
I've got a question. Should we modify this code before we vote on this? Can we do that in 2 weeks? So we can get these fellows rolling?
I think there's a window. My thought would be that there's a window that we're not sure if it would meet the 50%.
Right.
But Dewey, your thoughts?
I think that's fine as long as the council's intent here is to also modify it.
I agree with Stan. It feels a little outdated, and if there is a conflict that we should probably think about. Not only these gentlemen's plight, but our plights going forward.
Yeah. I want to say this was kind of a 90s thing.
Yes.
And I think to address some of the issues of activities in the downtown in the 90s.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
yep.
So.
And Susie wasn't a part of any of those shenanigans ever. But, and do you think that changing the code is something that we would need to do right away, or could we just put it in recodification? And don't ask what the timeline on that is.
If you're going to approve at this point, I understand these gentlemen are just starting out, so they don't exactly know the 50%, but we would have to be in contact with them regarding the 50% at this point. But also in the recodification, we should be amending this ordinance.
Yep. Yeah. Got that?
It's recorded. Good thing. So could I make a motion to approve this with all those stipulations?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I make
Yes.
a motion that we approve the retail alcohol license for the Luna Music Venue LLC. Provided that sales of alcohol are less than 50% be gross revenues. And also that the city recodifies the ordinance that would restrict you from having more than.
I'll second that.
Hold on, contingent fire inspection approval.
Contingent. on-
We know that's coming.
Well,
Contingent fire inspection. approval.
yeah, apparently that was already approved. Does that work?
Good enough for me.
All right, and then Mallory a second. right?
I did.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. We get to come to a party?
Okay, call the roll, please.
Wallen,
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, item B, resolution setting a date of meeting at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Percival Scientific Incorporated, including annual appropriation tax increment payments. This resolution would set a public hearing for 6 p.m. in the second floor meeting room of the Towncraft Building located at 1122 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa, on November 6, 2023. For the city council to receive questions and statements on a proposed development agreement between the city and Percival Scientific Incorporated in connection with the expansion of Percival's facilities in the Perry urban renewal area. The development agreement would provide for certain financial incentives in the form of incremental property tax payments in a total amount not exceeding $200,000.
I make a motion to pass resolution setting a date of meeting at which is proposed to approve a development agreement with Percival Scientific Incorporated, including annual appropriation tax increment payments.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Again, this is just setting the date, but this is something that we've been talking with Percival since the start of their expansion project. So now that that's complete, we can get it approved and on the books so that Susie can certify it. And we can collect it next fiscal year.
Okay. Call the roll.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes. Item C, resolution authorizing the sale of unused, outdated equipment. The city of Perry has accumulated pieces of equipment that are no longer needed for municipal purposes and desires to dispose of the following. Number one, 2011 Ford Explorer, serial number one FMEU 7DE 1AUB 17466 from Planning and Zoning. And second item, a 2002 Ford Ranger, serial number one FTZR 15E 22PB 63735 from the airport. This equipment will be disposed of in a manner calculated to obtain the best possible sale price, and the finance officer will deposit the proceeds into the city of Perry's operation fund accordingly.
Make a motion, we pass a resolution authorizing the sale of unused and outdated equipment.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
So both of these vehicles were replaced in this current budget with some capital expenditures. So now Jack Butler at the airport does not have to drive on gravel to get to city for fear of the truck falling apart. So it's a great machine. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Where do people view these and where can they put the bid in?
We haven't put all that together yet, but we'll put it together and get it advertised.
Chris kind of doing the trailer house. Ambulance, yeah, so we'll get blasters out on social permit but we're not sure where we're gonna put it.
Have we gotten the ambulance sold yet?
Sounds like Dean might be interested in that Ranger.
Be afraid to fall apart.
You've got a welder.
Has a pretty rough use.
Okay, call the roll.
Wally.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
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 Item D, resolution approving job description and pay range for the Assistant Recreation Director position in the city of Perry, Iowa. Due to recent department changes and restructuring of the Parks and Recreation Department, it is necessary to update and revise the job description and wage for the current position of the Assistant Parks and Recreation Director to better fit the new structure within the Parks and Recreation Department. This resolution would approve the restructuring of the Assistant Parks and Recreation Director to the Assistant Recreation Director, along with the created job description for the Assistant Recreation Director as attached and part of this resolution, with an annual salary of $67,600. Mrs. Becky Holling currently holds the Assistant Parks and Recreation Director position and will transition into the Assistant Recreation Director, providing more structure and hierarchy within the department.
I make a motion, we pass a resolution approving job description and pay range for the Assistant Recreation Director position in the city of Perry, Iowa.
I'll second.
Comments, concerns?
So I think at the last council meeting, we talked about this a little bit, but with the cemetery supervisor job open, John and I worked together to kind of rethink and structure that whole department. So right now it's John Anderson as the Parks and Recreation Director, Becky as the Assistant Parks and Recreation Director. Then we had a cemetery supervisor, a park supervisor, and a maintenance supervisor. So kind of like the summary said, we're kind of splitting that out. And instead of being so much of a vertical department, it makes it a little bit more of a horizontal department. So that Assistant Recreation Director will focus on all things recreation programming, and really just be able to worry about the rec center and things going on there. And then the Assistant Parks Director will oversee all things parks, green space, and manage cemetery activity. And then we'll be hiring a position within the Parks Department to kind of replace that person within the cemetery department. So
So
kind of,
Marco would be working for Becky.
yep. So right now, yeah, so Becky will have Marco, Ben, and Jean as her 3 full-time direct reports and a bunch of part-timers.
Right.
And then this position would have 2, the Assistant Parks Director would have 2 full-time parks employees. And then a regular part-time Roger, but he is regular part-time at the cemetery. So they will all report up through that Assistant Parks Director, then all of their seasonal employees as well. So
did we eliminate a position?
no,
Okay.
so likely we'll have an internal promotion from a current parks employee to this position. And that would open up one of those now 3 positions within the Parks Department, because we had 2 full-time in parks, 1 full-time at the cemetery. Combining that, we'll have 3 full-time at the Parks Department, taking care of all things. We call it all things green space. So
So John will be over both of these.
correct. So very similar to what we did last year with the Public Works Department.
Right.
Where we kind of took different pieces that were kind of floating around and just built in a little bit more horizontal structure so that people knew who they reported to and had a better level of accountability within the department. So doing basically the same structure here, we'll have 2 assistants and then that maintenance supervisor still on kind of the side, just like the airport manager is reporting to the director. So
Okay, so maintenance will report directly to John.
correct. Yep. Which that's happening now anyway too. So, so that's kind of this item and the next item put together, but any questions on either of those?
Roll.
Mahler.
Yes.
Yes.
Berkeley.
Yes.
Wally.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes. Item E, resolution approving job description and pay range for the Assistant Parks Director position in the city of Perry, Iowa. The Assistant Parks Director position would be responsible for supporting the Parks and Recreation Director in managing and enhancing parks, open spaces, the cemetery, recreational trail systems, and overseeing the department's fleet. This position will also be responsible for asset management and development, including identifying opportunities for parks and open space capital projects that enrich our community. This resolution would approve the full job description as attached, and part of this resolution, along with a wage range of $60,000 to $65,000. This position will aid in the dissemination of information and tasks which will create efficiencies within the Parks and Recreation Department.
I would make a motion to pass resolution approving the description and pay raise for the Assistant Parks Director position in City of Perry, Iowa.
I'll second that.
Comments, concerns? Anything?
I'm good.
Okay, we'll call the roll.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Ballmer.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Item F, resolution approving job description and pay range for the Public Services Librarian position in the City of Perry, Iowa. The Public Services Librarian position would assist the library director in administrative and professional functions of the library, with primary responsibility for supervising and managing circulation services. This position would also be responsible for the administration of the library in the absence of the library director. With this position being created, the position of deputy library director will not be filled. This resolution would approve the full job description as attached, and part of this resolution, along with the full-time pay rate of $25 per hour.
I make a motion that we pass a resolution approving job description and pay range for the Public Services Librarian position in the City of Perry, Iowa.
I'll second that.
Comment?
Hello, I'm Misty Von Baron, in case anyone doesn't know. Like we've been doing in all the other departments, this is just a way for us to restructure our department. So basically, my position is going to be eliminated. And then this will allow me to have somebody that's at the front desk that's a little bit more there. It'll be more consistent, and it'll allow me to do more of the things that I can do as the director. So I basically took my job description and kind of recreated so that it'll be a smoother transition. Any questions? No. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Walling.
Yes.
Ballmer.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments, or whatever?
I want to give a shout out to staff. Last year going through Public Works, restructuring, Parks restructuring this year, changes at the library. It's just been really fun to see all the staff step up and kind of not live under a notion of this is the way we've always done things, but think of like the best ways that we can operate and provide services to the public. And I hope it's apparent to Mayor, who's not here, but Mayor Pro Tem, Council, just the level of passion that this staff has for serving the community. It's really, it's very humbling and very fun to be a part of, so.
I would like to say that that came through loud and clear at the public safety meeting last week. The staff is on board.
Mhm.
And it was very.
Good crew.
Yep.
It's very apparent.
Call this meeting adjourned.
At 7:26.